Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we are unpacking a concept that literally changes the game for how we communicate on screen. We're talking about visual dynamics. We're going to figure out together exactly how to take those standard run-of-the-mill videos and transform them into something much more compelling, structured, and quite frankly, deliberate.
So I want to pose this question directly to you right off the bat. What actually makes visual content truly dynamic? I mean, think about it. With thousands of hours of video dropping every single minute across all these platforms, is just hitting record on a camera really enough anymore? Or is there a multi-layered approach we need to actually hold human attention? Think about the media you consume every day, and more importantly, how you're currently building your own compositions. Well, we're going to systematically break down the solution today and give you the exact framework to seriously elevate your visual messaging.
Okay, let's dive into this. We've got 4 main areas to hit today: mastering visual dynamics, text overlays and captions, graphics, icons, and stickers, and finally, the magic of animation. We're essentially going to build a layer cake of visual elements sequentially as we go.
Starting off with Section 1, Mastering Visual Dynamics. Let's lay the groundwork.
The big foundational term we need to anchor to right now is overlay. Basically, this is the critical first step to taking a bare-bones video and making it a truly engaging composition. You're enhancing your base media with text and graphics. Think of your raw video, a talking head or a sweeping landscape, as your base layer. When you place purposeful information on top of that, you aren't just decorating it, you're actively guiding the viewer's cognitive processing. In pro video production, an overlay is all about establishing visual hierarchy. Our brains are hardwired to track movement and contrast, right? So when you add a graphic element over your base layer, you're taking total control of where the eye goes. It takes it from a passive viewing experience to a directed one, where you guide them to the exact most important piece of data at the exact right millisecond. It's pretty powerful stuff.
Moving right along to Section 2, Text Overlays and Captions.
Now we're getting into the foundational information layer of our layer cake. Adding text overlays and captions is absolutely essential for clarity, for driving home your messaging, and honestly, for making your videos accessible to everyone. Research in cognitive psychology shows us that when you reinforce spoken audio with written text, retention goes through the roof. It's called dual coding theory. You give the brain both visual and verbal representations of the same info, and boom, stronger memory traces. Plus, text anchors these abstract concepts into concrete words, allowing your audience to process dense information without ever losing the thread of the narrative.
And this brilliantly illustrates why captions are your absolute secret weapon when a viewer is watching on mute. Think about it, an audio-dependent message versus a caption-enhanced message. If your viewer is crammed on a busy train without headphones, a purely auditory message is completely lost. Poof, gone. We live in a mobile-first world where the default viewing state is often silent. Captions basically make the structure of your content functionally indestructible. You're guaranteeing that your core takeaways and central arguments are delivered flawlessly, totally regardless of whatever audio environment the viewer happens to be sitting in.
All right, Section 3, Graphics, Icons, and Stickers. Here is where we make the transition from pure information into the engagement layer. We're talking about incorporating graphics, icons, and stickers. While text dictates the facts, these specific visual tools add that necessary visual flair and symbolism to the base video. A complex idea that might take 30 seconds to verbally explain, you can often just bypass that completely with a single well-recognized graphic. It is a massive reduction in cognitive load for your viewer. You're basically giving their brain a shortcut to understanding. Let's break down exactly how these work. Graphics provide essential context, like dropping a rising line chart to back up a point about quarterly growth. It instantly validates what you're saying. Icons give you that quick, universal recognition. They cue the brain with symbols we already know, completely bypassing the need to read. But stickers. Stickers are fascinating. Imagine you have a really formal, dry, maybe even slightly boring corporate training video. The information is good, but the tone is just stiff. By incorporating a simple, subtle, animated sticker, maybe a light bulb popping up for a good idea or a little check mark, you instantly shift the entire tone of that video from formal and corporate to friendly and conversational. It is a real game changer for manipulating tone without touching the base content.
And that brings us to Section 4, the magic of animation. This is the highly active motion layer of our composition.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how exploring animation effects takes all those previously static text and graphic elements and actually brings them to life. Up until now, things just sort of appear. But when you apply a slide-in effect or a really smooth opacity fade, it introduces the element so naturally to the eye. It dictates visual timing. Pacing is everything in video, right? Animation lets you control that pacing visually. It eases the viewer's eye into the information instead of jarring them, and it subtly signals that this content was crafted with high production value.
So the crucial point is this sequential layer cake workflow. It's a completely repeatable process. Step 1, add your text and captions to secure that information layer and boost retention. Step 2, incorporate your graphics and stickers to reduce cognitive load and set the right tone. And Step 3, explore animation effects to direct the eye intentionally and breathe life into the whole thing. You aren't just throwing everything at the timeline at once. You are stacking these elements sequentially to engineer a truly deliberate viewing experience.
So I'll leave you with this. How will you use visual dynamics to transform your next message? You have the framework now. You know how to build these layers deliberately. I challenge you to apply these exact concepts to your own visual media workflows. Think about that visual hierarchy, manage the cognitive load, nail the pacing of those animations, and turn your next piece of communication into something totally unforgettable. Thanks so much for exploring this with me today. See you next time.